I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're ready here.
Okay.
Good luck, gentlemen. Have a great
Thank
race.
you.
We'll see y'all.
Thank you.
Take it
Good
easy.
luck, Truman. Have fun.
Good luck, GDF.
Both of you guys go fast.
Alright.
That's what we're here for, right?
Okay, so
Do you need me to count down for you?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let go.
I'm pretty stoked about the Marios.
It's dope.
So, to answer the question that usually gets asked, so what 96 exit refers to is that in this game there's 74 different stages. Many of them have more than one way to beat the stage, and so this route actually goes through the entirety of the Super Mario World game, beats every single stage, but doesn't just beat the stages, also beats every exit of every stage. That takes us through all of the levels, castles, forts, ghost houses, and then finally culminates at the Bowser fight. While not being an exit, traditionally that's where you end the video game. This route does have glitches in it, but there are a few glitches that as a community are not part of the typical 96 exit category. So 96 exit does not include the orb glitch, which is the one that was mentioned earlier. The orb is an item that you can have in your item box that allows you to beat any stage instantly. While you could run that category, 96 exit with orbs, our community doesn't add that to the typical 96 exit category. All other glitches are available on the table.
Oh.
To answer the
We're gonna see
question,
plenty of them.
Oh my god.
just little hiccups.
Jesus.
So, to answer the question,
Nerds.
no, this category is not what we refer to as 100%. We actually don't use the word 100% because there are a lot of competing definitions for that. You could refer to 96 exit as 100%, but alternatively, you could also refer to a category known as Lunar Dragon as a 100%, which is all exits plus all dragon coins in every stage that has them plus all moons. And so we just don't use 100% as a descriptor.
That seems kind of arbitrary, but I guess the point is that those are things that are permanent state. Like every other power-up comes back every time you re-enter the level, but the Dragon Coins
Right,
don't
the
come
only
back.
thing about Dragon Coins and Moons is that they don't remain after you reset your console, so it's not...
Yeah, it's not permanent state, but it's as far as when the game is powered on, they are things that persist between levels.
Sure. But in short, we just don't use the term 100%.
Or any kind of percentage for any category, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, we used to refer to some categories as like any percent no Star World. That category is now known as no Star World. Our old any percent is now known as 11 exit. Credits warp is 0 exit. This has always been 96 exit.
I like that better. If the game doesn't actually have a percentage anywhere, why make that up when you can just be specific about what your goal is?
The only category that has a percentage, and I think it's just as a sort of a convention, is low percent, which is just what we use to refer to staying small Mario the whole time. No power-ups, no Yoshi, nothing.
Okay, so now this is pretty much where Truman and I go our separate ways.
Oh, are you doing a different route?
In races, I always do the old school routes.
Ooh.
Oh, green switch
Actually-
first.
Exactly, because you never know.
Plus, it doesn't really help you to do early wings. You're not resetting.
Yeah.
So, are we going to see a route there?
Well, let me think about that real quick.
Yeah, real quick. It's okay, if you want to make my job harder commentating, go for it.
We're not gonna see a route difference. I'm gonna go for GDF's route.
So what we have here is a sane race
Uh-oh.
between two people who have agreed to be friendly
Literally
about this.
beforehand. that we're doing the same route. GDF, you're doing a top secret early or no?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Alright, so they're establishing the same route, and so what we're going to see here is, at least for the longest stretch of this game, was the basically accepted 96 exit category, or 96 exit route. Nowadays, if you look at the top runners of this game, it differs from person to person what the route is, just because of the fact that it's fairly easy to design a route that hits all of your trouble spots early so that you can reset if you want to optimize your resetting. So this stage is an auto-scroller. Let's see, 3 or 4 of them in this run, I can't remember. We've already seen Castle 1, but there's not too many of them, it's not too painful. Unfortunately, we have to see this one twice, so...
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So both of them got the pipe fly here. That's actually really great. It's very difficult to set that up properly if you're unfamiliar with it, and it allows you to fly instantly when you get into the next room, which saves considerable amounts of time.
Oh, Max Yumps ruined. Did I really just say rump?
Rumps. No yump. Man, we're slacking.
Well, it's been a nice show, guys. Thanks for having us.
For those who don't know, a yump is a one-frame trick.
Game actually lets you jump off of lets you jump off of the Switch Palace switch, and so you can jump for 1 frame after you hit it.
Saves no time.
It doesn't lose time either, so that's great.
Oh God, no! Wow, what unintentional slag.
I really thought you were about to die there.
Me too. I did not mean to do that.
Yes, I do, Aaron. This route feels weird. I haven't done this route for several months. It really doesn't matter too much, though.
Yeah, it's relatively easy to swap between routes. Most of the stages that have a requirement for certain power-ups, you get them right before it, and most of this run's just Cape and Fire Flower anyway, so... Yeah, so to answer that question, chat, the reason why Yellow Switch is skipped is because when they beat Special World, they'll actually be brought back out onto Yoshi's Island, right where Yoshi's house is, and they will go and do Yellow Switch at that point.
Nice.
It's faster to do Yoshi's Island 1 with a cape anyway, so...
Alright, I have to skip every split up until Big Boo, so I just took care of that.
The good news is you're way ahead of your splits. So these are actually two of the top runners in this category. The Keisto having recently gotten the world record, GreenDeathFlavor has the 2nd place time, and Truman, you're what right now, number 5?
Yeah, 5th.
Which is really impressive when you consider who are in the top 4 places. This is not a game where... That's number 5 out of 100, not number 5 out of 7.
couple other former world record holders too in that top 5.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think
Every
all of
single
the top
one of
4 was a world record holder at one point.
Yep.
Even if only briefly, every single person ahead of Truman right now held the world record at one point.
Yeah, and then one person behind me.
Yeah, the next person behind him previously had the world record.
Wonder if I'm still even in the top 10. Probably not. It's been so many years.
No.
You need I think you need like a 124, like any 124 to be in the top 10.
Yeah. I doubt I.
Yeah, I'm not in the top 10 anymore either.
Yeah.
It's a rough life.
Yeah, there's a lot of new runners who have basically just shown up onto the scene and gotten really great times. So actually, the top of the leaderboards for 96 Exit is not only really optimized, but they're active runners too. A lot of them. So
Yeah, there's definitely no shortage of good streams right now doing this category.
Because I have the green block, I don't have to do the strap at the spring here.
Oh,
So
I
I'm just
forgot
gonna
about
try
that.
straight Morton fly.
yeah, so this castle's a little bit tough to do optimally, flying straight to the top. If he hadn't have gotten the green switch palace, you'll notice Truman passing by springboard right there. He would have taken that up to help him with the climb, but he's able to spin fly off of the green blocks.
Okay, I remembered how to do it. Let's go.
Let's go. This has been a fine run so far.
Yeah, other than YI3, this has been a fine run so far.
We're at a
What
less than
happened to you
10-second
there?
difference right now.
I pretty much immediately lost speed,
Oh,
and then couldn't get it back.
But still, even with that mistake, we're at about a 10-second difference between both of you, which is pretty good at this point. It's still anyone's game with clips and wings coming up, so...
yeah.
Speaking
Right here could
of
get-
wings.
A
This
lot
is,
wider or a lot shorter.
This is almost certainly the roughest part of the speedrun. There are other parts that are incredibly difficult, but for how early in the run this is an incredibly brutal and demoralizing part of the speedrun. In this stage, you're going to see them both attempting to get Yoshi wings by duplicating blocks in a way that the game doesn't intend for you to do. They're going to be using glitches to literally cheat in their speedruns.
We're bad people, I know.
65, I'm a cheater. This is
There
the
you
one I
saw-
hate the most.
So there you saw GDF getting wings. Truman's going for them still, and he just grabbed them. Now
Okay.
GDF is going on to... oh lord, okay. Vanilla Dome 2, and here he's going to be using a Yoshi clip. He's going to have to ditch Yoshi in order to get through this wall to attempt to get the key exit.
I almost
Perfect, perfect
ADDQ'd
clip.
that.
That was a perfect VD2. And Truman as well. Both got perfect clips. That is really great. Those clips, unfortunately, while it's pure execution
No.
to get into the wall, getting through the wall is actually almost entirely random. You can control it ever so slightly, how often it gives you the good luck, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to a coin flip, so...
No yump.
Alright, so we're at 1 yump to 0 right now. Truman
I'm
holding
losing the
down
battle.
holding down number 2.
Holding it down, keeping it fresh.
He's keeping it fresh to death right now. So here you'll notice that both of them, GDF right now, is continuously re-stunning this Buzzy Beetle he's holding. You swim faster while holding an object, but the Buzzy Beetle will wake up if you just swim with him normally. So what you do is you continually drop the Buzzy Beetle, spin your cape, and re-grab it. And it happens so quickly that it's kind of hard to tell what's happening sometimes. But that's how he's able to continue carrying the Buzzy Beetle through the entire room.
Yeah, I lost it at the very end, but at that point it didn't really matter.
Now we're going to see if Truman manages to get... Okay, so he just got the swag sticky fly strat. I'm going to assume GDF got it too, because I was too busy talking. So it doesn't save any time, but it's incredibly convenient to get that. It's a little glitch in the game that makes Mario kind of stick to a ceiling. Makes it a lot easier to get past all of those bats. It doesn't actually save any time, though. Neither of them went for the dirty Eries, and that's okay. Literal frames being lost here. Ooh! Okay, sorry. That was my response to seeing GDF almost take a dive into a hole.
Listen, Auth, there will be plenty of time for dirty tricks later.
Dirty and sexy.
Okay, so this is probably the most technically difficult one. I'm going to try not to talk over this one. This is Vanilla Dome 3.
God, I was worried about that.
Oh, I did not think you were going to get that. So getting that spin fly there requires a lot of expertise to conserve your momentum, and let's see if how Truman does on it as well. Oh, he also got third pass. Both of them got it. That's not easy to do. Alright, Green Death just grabbed his Yoshi, and he's going to be going for the Yoshi fly here. Let's see how he does. Typically... Ooh. Oh, okay. So he's still alive, but he lost his Yoshi.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very costly.
Yeah, about 15 seconds, maybe. Might be the decider for bringing these two back together a little bit.
Yeah, we
So
won't know
what that
until
does is
after the castle.
right. So what that was meant to do right there is skip a long section of just riding the skull platforms. You try to conserve all of your flight momentum. Skip over that entire section. Alright, so while Green Death gets to fly like normal through this stage, we're going to see Truman attempt to jump fly his way through this. Not any harder, really, but just sort of different techniques.
Yo, one tile fly.
Easy every time.
Tricks.
Can you imagine anyone being silly enough to just land below those blocks and take off?
You know, I can't, Author Blues.
I'm glad that you, like me, feel that way. So here we have Green Death going into Castle 3. So one thing that you wouldn't notice if you're not familiar with this, but it's very easy for Magikoopa to spawn in front of you as you're running, but by utilizing cape spinning for some reason, it extends the cape's hitbox forward and tells Magikoopa to not spawn in front of you. It's just sort of a weirdness with this game. But it makes that really safe.
I almost got something happening to me in that room.
Yeah, it never feels good, whatever happens, even when it goes right.
Yeah, there's another castle later where Magikoopa just spawns everywhere.
So this is a relatively straightforward room. There are a few cycle skips that are happening here, trying to avoid getting stuck in places where you can't make any progress, but in general, it's not too difficult to move through quickly. From here we have the Lemmy fight. He appears randomly in these pipes, and you have to hit him 3 times. Actually, one of the very few instances of randomness in this game.
There's not many.
That would not have been a bad vanilla if not for losing Yoshi.
Okay, I'm done with that.
Yeah, so while it doesn't look like Green Death is behind right now, In this next stage, Truman will have the availability to grab Yoshi Wings, which will allow him to end the stage slightly earlier, and more so than just that, it's also going to entirely skip the fanfare that happens after you grab the gold tape. So not only is Green Death going to have to fly slightly further through the stage to get to the goal, but he's also going to have to sit through the 10-second fanfare. So this is going to kind of allow us to see who's in the lead right now. It's not obvious to tell at the moment.
So this looks complicated, but I'm just going to be holding right, jump, and run.
Yeah, this strat's basically free for Cheesebridge area. If you jump at the correct time, you can't mess it up.
I've only seen one person mess it up ever, and that was Kakusho.
That has me intrigued.
Okay, so Truman just exited that stage at 1957, and Green Death just exited at 1959. So we have pretty much a fully locked up race at this moment.
You are welcome.
We're only bringing you the best.
So this is
What to talk about when you're tapping left.
yeah. So this is one of those stages that people rail on this game for, how you just fly over the top of the stage. While it's true that most of them are, most of the stages like this are pure flyovers, there's at least a small amount of skill in being able to identify whether or not you have the fastest flight speed and being able to properly adjust for it. It doesn't really make the difference in a huge way, but keep in mind that of these stages, there's really only about 10 of them out of 74 that are pure flyovers. So don't let that sour you on this game. I think the conventional strat, or at least the developer intended strat for these stages, is that you would take a Yoshi and Yoshi jump underneath the platform gold tape in order to get to the secret gold tape. But as you're going to see, both of these guys just flew straight under it, no problem. So we didn't have to involve the messy business of murdering Yoshis for this.
I mean, I'd like to do that, but unfortunately it's not fast.
It's the passion of every SMW speedrunner to murder as many Yoshis as possible, and we've definitely incorporated as much of that into this run as we were capable.
He's caused enough problems for all of us.
So actually, you're seeing the two opposite ends of the coin for this stage, for these two runners. What you're seeing Green Death right here do is he's swimming above the stage, and the benefit to that is, while it's not any faster to do that, you avoid bonking your head on the sides of platforms, which can slow you down in very small ways. But when you're trying to optimize this game as much as possible, staying above the stage is at least free in the sense that you don't ever get slowed down. While on the other side, you see Truman swimming below the stage, which, if you do it optimally, doesn't lose any time at all, if you make sure that you don't bonk your head on anything. But
yeah, this is not optimal.
But the positive side of that is that because you're below the stage the whole time, there's literally no risk of dying at any point. And for a seasoned SMW player who has swam below this many stages, there's really not much of a risk of falling off the bottom of the screen either.
Makes for a nice cheese in Kaizo.
It does. So here we're entering Star World, and we need to do each of these exits twice, actually. Don't forget that we have to do every single exit. So we're going to start with the hardest exit in the entire run. There you have it.
Now, it is actually possible for that gold tape to despawn, making it impossible to get the exit.
Yeah. That's why you do the normal exit first there, it's just so that if Yoshi ends up eating the gold tape, it's too outside the scope of this speedrun to explain what I mean by that. But if Yoshi eats the gold tape, you can grab the key first and then come back and do the normal exit afterwards.
Should probably remind Truman to fly above for the secret
No,
exit.
Too
I
late.
don't think so.
Too
It's
late.
it's not too late. I'm still on normal exit.
Oh, you said for secret, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's got the green switches.
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I thought you were just
That's
making
why I'm
fun of
reminding
mine
you.
all the time. Dang. That would have been ugly.
So while it's definitely riskier to fly at the bottom of
Yeah.
that stage, the reason why people do fly at the bottom there is because you enter your actual flight state earlier, which is faster than your running speed, which is what you have during the entire jump up to the top of the screen. So we're talking frames here, but these are two of the top runners in this game, and frames are what matters when you're this optimized. Besides, who doesn't want to put on a good show for these lovely people at SNES Superstars?
Who have put on a lovely marathon so far.
So when we were watching GreenDeathFlavor earlier do his awesome 11 exit run that he did for us, we talked about how frustrating zips can be in this run. And while that's true, 11 exit does have its own fair share of frustration when it comes to zips. No category gets the shaft quite as much as 96 exit, because not only do you have to do it once, but you have to do it twice, and you have to do it all the way to the bottom of the stage. So rather than just doing 2 quick zips, it's, you know, half a dozen of them, and some of them are much more difficult than just the 2 that you experience typically in 11 exit. So let's hope that these go well for them.
Abort.
Yeah, Green Death had a rough time with the second zip, and he was smart enough to not go for it any further, just because of the fact that if you try to force it and it doesn't go properly, it's very easy to just get pushed diagonally and killed. So he went ahead and took the key exit first. Really minor overworld time loss, but that allowed him to go ahead and give this a proper attempt for the normal exit zips.
Wow.
Green Death actually made the same mistake on the third zip that Truman did, the exact same mistake.
We got 2 different ends of spectrum here. My 11 zips and these.
Yeah, zipping's no joke. It's incredibly difficult to be consistent at zipping. Even the top runners have an incredibly frustrating time trying to get consistent zips in runs.
Oh yeah, it's very precise and very inconsistent.
Yeah, even when you put the inputs in right, sometimes you just get bad luck.
Overall, I'd say my zips were pretty good.
Yeah, your zips were slightly better than GDF's, but you guys both actually did about the same for that. So we went ahead and had the key exit first on this stage, but we're going to do the normal now, and this is actually going to be our opportunity to grab the blue Yoshi and make him grow.
Oh boy.
So this is so weird doing this route. Usually the route I do is like 3 minutes faster to this point, so all my like timing is off when I look at the timer.
Okay, sorry about that. I feel like my internet just choked for a second. So here we have both of them using Blue Yoshi to fly up to the key in Star World 5 and heading off to Special World. So these are intended to be the most difficult levels of the game, even harder than the final world of the game. It's up to you to decide whether or not that's actually the case. Alright, so what you're seeing right here, we just saw Truman get wings in Gnarly. So he duplicated a bunch of blocks in order to get the wing block in Gnarly, and he grabbed Yoshi wings with it. Green Death is doing the same thing. Both of them actually had excellent block dupes there. So it went relatively quickly.
Come on. Come on. Okay,
Truman's having a bit of a rough time with the wing block. Tubular. Oh, that's unfortunate. So all told, between how difficult of a time Truman had getting wings, and Green Death just going ahead and going along with it, I think a lot of that came out in the wash.
So that P-switch movement in the pipe I was having trouble with is RNG. Or the first way it moves is RNG, then you can control it, because if you just buffer scrolls, it'll always move the same way. But the trick is getting it to move the right way.
Which is a 50-50 chance. So these stages are intended to be really challenging, and on foot, these are definitely some of the most difficult stages in the game. But between exploiting Blue Yoshi and Cape, it's possible to do a lot of these stages relatively easily, though I'm not going to downplay the difficulty of parts of it.
Yeah, Spawn Wings has been around for a while.
Yeah, suffice it to say that these levels played out in the speedrun a lot easier than they're intended to be, but they're still quite difficult. Especially when you add in the glitches of trying to duplicate for wings. Those glitches have been known for a long time, especially in the task community. There's videos 4 and 5 years old that talk about them, but as far as for real time, it's only been in the past, I think, maybe 2.5 years or so that wings were incorporated into Vanilla Dome 1, just because of the huge amount of time save, and then in more recent history, wings were added to more stages. So Gnarly has had a wing strat for maybe about a year at this point, maybe a little more, and Tubular is quite recent, as of SGDQ last year, I think.
Alright, so you want to explain why grabbing that fire flower is important?
Sure, so Fire Flower is actually quite important for all of the boss fights in this game, save for 3 of them. Fortunately, we still have 2 more bosses left that Fire Flower would help us with, but due to some power-up trickery in Star World, we're now down spare Fire Flowers. So, what we're actually doing here is we need a spare cape. That's what we need more than anything. And so there's a few opportunities for it. The fastest of which I think is still the flower that you can find in Awesome. But grabbing that flower is a joke. No sane person would ever advocate for that option. So the second best option is grabbing the fire flower out of the roulette block in Groovy.
I just started flying in this level when I should have exited.
Yeah, so GDF had a little bit of a hard time getting up into the air in Mondo, but it wasn't a huge time loss, and he recovered quite well, especially since there's a cape toward the beginning of that stage.
It's huge, so. It's around 20 seconds.
Right, but not irrecoverable considering how close you guys have been this entire race. Truman just exited Outrageous as you were entering it, so if that gives you a sense of scale.
Yeah.
So Outrageous is easily the most difficult stage in the game if you don't have a cape, and it's easily the simplest stage in the game if you do have a cape, so... Here's a very clear example of the cape in this game being absolutely broken. But... what you lose out in stages like Outrageous, you gain in incredible technical skill being required to utilize the cape in other areas of the speedrun.
Super player. Goal. Alright, after this split, I will know where I compare with my usual route.
Thanks, game, for telling me I'm a super player.
So this is the point of the run where we just go back and pick up all the other exits on alternate paths we missed on the first go-around.
I take its word for it. I mean, it's coins. You have to believe coins.
Their opinions are worth something.
Looks like there's about a difference of 30 seconds between the two of you at the moment, which is still definitely anyone's game considering some of the levels that are coming up.
Mainly one.
I mean, Forest of Illusion Yoshi clips can settle that right there.
Yeah. No yump again.
Truman's still 0 out of 0 out of 3 for yumps, so I mean...
So,
The
they're climbing
timer-
down Kappa Mountain. I'm on my way up. Sorry.
I'm on my way down.
The timer says that Truman's in the lead, but my heart goes with GDF because he's gotten a yump.
See if I can get 2.
Alright, I'm doing secret exit.
So easy.
Free yumps. Any fool can yump in this game. So here Truman is going to be doing the secret exit in order to head into the donut secret path. And he's going to be basically cleaning up World 2, and then he's going to be taking the alternate route on World 3 that's going to be entering into new territory, where we'll see Worlds 4 through 7 for the remainder of the game. Truman here is taking another crack. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. This is the first attempt for this route on Donut Secret 1. So we're going to see how this goes for him.
Not too well.
I've seen worse.
I've done worse.
So, sort of to give you an idea of what's going on here, it's actually technically slower to go through these pipes into the dry room in Donut Secret 1, as you see GDF doing right now. But the shell that you grab in there allows you to swim faster for at least a short period of time when you can switch it out for the blue P-switch. Anything that you hold in this game makes you swim faster, and unfortunately you would probably keep the shell the whole time if it weren't for the fact that if you try to spin an enemy while holding a shell, it's somewhat arbitrary whether or not the game decides that you lose the shell, so the P-switch is at least a lot more permanent.
Nice.
For the sake of stats, if you don't feel comfortable grabbing that shell in the dry room, going in there actually loses you half a second. It's not even worth it if you're not going to grab it. We have Truman here doing a fairly solid Donut Secret House, and he's going to be attempting to beat Big Boo here on this attempt, so...
Attempting and hopefully succeeding.
I believe in him. Big Boo is the only non-castle or fort boss in this game. The forts have the Resnors and the castles have the Koopa Kids. This is the only additional boss in the game. He actually can't hurt you, which is kind of interesting. He has no hurt box to him. The opposite of a hitbox. He has no hurt box, so no matter where you stand, he can't damage you in any way, even if you jump into him. But his lackeys can. The two little boos that float around that room. So you just hit him twice with throw blocks, and try not to dig yourself a hole because there's no ground below you. I think at one time or another, every Super Mario World runner has mashed the Y button out of frustration at the end of that fight and killed themselves.
Alright, I have caught back up with my splits.
Nice.
I now know kinda how this run's going.
So how do you sit against your PB?
Plus 29,
Wow.
which decent.
Okay, so GDF unfortunately regained his piece speed at an inopportune time, which cost him one cycle of the Boo Ring. Not a huge time loss, but ultimately maybe a little bit frustrating. But he's still doing really well.
Yeah, that's a horrible ghost house.
It's amazing that for the fact that both of these guys have been making like really minor mistakes here and there, that they're both as incredibly neck and neck as they are, with Truman just now leaving DS2 and GDF entering it. A one-stage differential is really nothing in this game.
Yep. Nice.
That strat that you just saw Truman do there, that's not easy. The timing for that spin fly is really precise and allows you to avoid having to actually ride the vine all the way up to the keyhole. So it's clutch to be able to get that in a run, no matter how good or bad the run is.
Yeah, I love that strat. It's so satisfying to pull off.
It's whatever the opposite of free is.
And I just fell victim to inconsistent floating in this game.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, it's not the ideal situation, but it's not the end of the world. You can actually get another cape in the next stage, so he's okay, and with the red blocks, he'll be able to get up to the key, no problem. The spin fly there is a little bit frustrating because you have to, like, drop just the right amount at just the right time to avoid hitting that swoop. And the timing takes practice. But this next stage has 2 capes in it, so you can lock it back up. So this is just another flyover stage that you're seeing Truman do.
Yeah, this is really the last like flyover heavy part of the run.
Yeah, there's 3 stages in this world that Truman's on right now that are flyovers, and for the rest of the game, basically, it is a fully attended speedrun. So, the only thing that's special about that flyover right there is that you don't want to be flying above the screen because there's parabomb-bombs that fall from the sky right off screen, and you can run into one of them above, so you have to remember to stay a little bit lower than you would otherwise intend to.
Yeah, now this level's cool because it's got dolphins.
And like his true self, GDF just got the crazy swag vanilla secret 1 strat, the shell throw.
I almost threw it into myself.
Green Death, as always, earning that God Gamer moniker.
Right now, so this is the first fortress of the game. I've still got 3 more after this.
Yeah, I guess we don't hit any of the fortresses until pretty late.
No.
So this is the first fortress and our first introduction to Reznor, named after Trent Reznor, lead singer of the Nine Inch Nails. In Japanese, his name is Bui Bui, though, and that's a much more adorable name. Reznor sounds so aggressive, and Bui Bui sounds so friendly. But I guess then once you actually fight him, he's anything but.
Alright.
That was a textbook Reznor fight. Everything went exactly the way you would want them to.
Yep. Alright, now everybody buckle in because we're heading to Auto-Scroller Town.
Fast reverse underwater Bui Bui is the best one, Slash. So this is Butterbridge 1, the real snooze fest of the auto-scrollers. Unfortunately, almost all of it is without a floor underneath you, so try not to fall asleep actually. Because who would ever be foolish enough to die in this stage?
Yeah, nobody in this call's done that.
Yeah, nobody in this call has ever died in Butterbridge 1.
Never.
So you gotta give the people what they want, you gotta give them some action. See, that's why I always make coin block factories.
Yeah, how's that usually work out for you?
I've got like a 80% success rate. I would bet money on me to survive it, but I wouldn't bet much money.
Fun fact, if you actually collect the power-up as the screen scrolling vertically here, you soft lock.
Yeah, don't do it. Well, if you do it above the screen.
Oh, wait, if you do it where, yeah, off the screen above it, you soft lock.
Yeah, otherwise there's no way to get that cape down there at the bottom, but... It has happened to the best of us. I've actually never experienced it, but I remember
Me neither.
not so fondly it happening to Spike Vegeta, I think, in a tournament
Yeah.
race of his, didn't it?
I think it was during his like pre-tournament practice, but it was like it was one of the first things that like he experienced after playing this game. Good introduction.
It depends on when the lava bridge falls out from underneath you. If it falls out from underneath you during the Reznor fight when you still have control, you'll fall to your death. But if it falls out from underneath you after the whistle sounds, then you're safe.
You'll magically walk on lava.
You'll magically float in midair. So I think coming up, for me personally, aside from things like the Roy flight, which has its own sort of fame and infamy, I think that Castle 4 has some of the most impressive looking strategies to it. I think it looks visually impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of these guys attempt it. This stage is actually one of the first instances that you get to see a technique called cape canceling. You saw that Truman actually jumped directly into one of those spike balls, and he didn't take any damage for it. And the reason for that is that the cape has the magical power under certain conditions to allow you to completely cancel any potential damage. It's not damage boosting in the sense that you take damage from it and keep moving. It actually just negates damage and makes you invulnerable for a few moments. So that's what you saw him do there. And like so many Koopa kids before him, 2 fireballs and a jump, and he's dead.
Yes, you do fly faster than you run by a few sub-pixels per frame. Alright, now we're coming up to the best part of the run, Yoshi clips.
Yeah, the the biggest Yoshi clips in the game are actually in Forced of Illusion 2. A lot of speedrunners have their own love-hate relationship with them, but in short, basically, you make use of certain oddities in Yoshi's hitbox to allow you to move out of bounds. And that will allow you to skip a lot of the maze-like structure of Forest of Illusion 2. You can just go under the whole stage. So rather than having to wait on urchins to get out of your way, and moving left and right and things like that, you can purely go under it. So we're not quite there yet, but you'll see it happening.
Yeah. As a side note, one of the benefits of Special World is that some of these Koopas turn blue. Like the one I just grabbed is formerly red. But now that it's blue, I can just fly over the level.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. It changes a lot of the blue, actually. Like, blue seems to be the new preferred color for Koopas.
Alright,
So you're going to see Truman coming up and attempting the first Forest of Illusion 2 clip in the run. Hoping to not see a Kakusho here.
You don't want a Kakusho. Nobody wants a Kakusho.
You don't want a Kakusho.
We have names for some different interesting ways to fail in this game, named after great runners who have failed in that way. So,
yeah,
for instance, you saw Truman there get the awesome first try Yoshi clip on his first attempt. Unlike him, Kakusho in his No Star World tournament took 13 tries to get through the wall, which was pretty impressive. Because any other person who tries it 12 times would just give up, but not Kakusho. He goes on for a 13th.
Okay, I'm about to go for something here.
Oh,
Maybe a bad idea, though.
Oh, I'm excited to see this.
I'm excited.
Looks like we might have Green Death attempting a pretty sick strat that saves 4 whole seconds.
Yup! Oh, finally did it. Yo.
Yep, this was a bad idea.
I may have misjudged.
I've made a terrible mistake.
Please bounce.
Rough. So what Green Death was going for there was duplicating that P-Balloon block to the left will produce Yoshi Wings as well, which ultimately, if done completely optimally, will save 4 seconds, but it's definitely not a free strat, as evidenced there. So, as we just mentioned, the cape canceling strategy in Castle 4, what you just saw Truman do at the beginning of that stage was basically abuse that mechanic 3 times in a row to get through all of those boos without having to wait, because they block your passageway.
Alright, and now it's time for Clips Round 2.
Yeah, my route's gonna take a bit of a detour now.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay, so there was, surprisingly this far into the run was your first example of the failure of Yoshi clips. So he did get a second try there, but you saw him attempt to get through the wall and he got pushed back in bounds. That's the randomness that we all have to deal with in this game when you speedrun it. Getting into the wall is really only half of the battle, and it's the only half that you have any control over. And with practice, you can actually get that quite consistent. I mean, I'm familiar with most runners not having, more than, a week's worth of practice before they can get fairly consistently into the wall on both Vanilla Dome 2 and Force of Illusion 2. But learning how to get through into the wall is only half the battle.
Yeah, alright, now there's a very important trick coming up right now that I need very serious time for.
Green Death just got first try clip on his Force of Illusion 2, by the way.
Got it. That's called
Alright, so
the Dirty Bubble.
what's important about that is that I don't want to spread misinformation on a commentated run. I'm sorry. We have a joke in our community that that trick jumping in front of that bubble rather than behind it really saves a matter of frames. Really just frames, that's all there is to say about it, but it's our running joke in the community that doing Dirty Bubble does save 30 minutes, so it's pretty worth it.
Yeah, it's very, very precise, very difficult.
Who's ever seen a Yump Yoshi?
I know that I want to see one.
You got it.
Before today, I didn't know how badly I wanted to see a Yump with Yoshi, and now that I saw one, I knew that that's what had been missing from my life. So Green Death got 3 for 4 as far as Yumps are concerned. What did you end up with, Truman?
I went with 1 for 4, so we can combine to have a 4 for 4.
And before someone says it's 4 of 8.
That's math.
Now
right
we can
there.
combine. We can combine to all 4 yumps.
It is a math day after all. Alright, that nightmare is done.
Nice. So Green Death just got through his second instance of Force of Illusion 2. Very straightforward. Picking up for a little bit of lost time with having Force of Illusion 1 wings not go quite his way, but what a trooper. Truman just got the quick takeoff in Force Secret Area.
Yeah, the quick
good.
takeoff that gives super moving motion sickness background.
Yeah, if you're prone to motion sickness, I guess I should have warned you in advance.
Yeah, that only
I know
happens
that
if
every
you touch
time
these platforms.
I know that every time I do a run of this game at least, I get one person in chat complain about the fast-moving background. So this is, can't think of any more auto-scrollers, right? This is the last auto-scroller in the run. Am I forgetting?
Yeah. I think so.
So this is the last auto-scroller of the run. What's a little bit unfortunate about it is that the next room is so very frustrating, especially if you're new to learning this category, that sometimes you might choose to take a little bit safer strats in the next room just for fear of having to do this auto-scroller twice. This also is your very quick opportunity to check to make sure that you've gotten all the switch palaces, because every color switch block appears covering up one of these gaps at least once. So Truman just got a very solid forest fort right there.
That was good.
Took it a little bit patient on the Reznor because he was being just a tad bit aggressive, but he did a great job. It's exactly what you gotta do, though. Reznor is just random enough that you have to learn to respond to what he gives you and not try to force it. The instinct to try to force it to go fast is exactly what makes people lose a lot of runs to Reznor's curse's name.
Yeah, I mean, I'd honestly say that knowing when to go slow is one of the important parts of running this game. There are a lot of things where if you rush it, it'll just kill you.
Yeah, this game doesn't present you a lot of randomness, but the parts that are random, you really just have to be aware of and learn when it's appropriate to go slow to go fast, so. Green Death with an awesome forest secret area. I should have once again provided the motion sickness warning. And he will be entering Forest Fort now, hopefully to the same end that Truman had. Honestly, it's still only about 1.5 stages between the two of them, so... I wanna praise GDF, but really, with GDF having died in Forest of Illusion 1, I have to ask what Truman was doing with his time.
Oh, you know, stuff.
Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Things.
You know, speedrun things.
Aaron, right now I'm plus 20.
That was a pretty solid... Oh, I guess you're just about to see how you've done on your forest.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's a strat I'm not familiar with in Forest Fort.
You got a lot to explain there.
Okay, so Resnor's literally garbage, and what just happened there was he took a hit early on, which was execution, but then afterwards got clipped by the platform and clipped underneath it, which was basically random at that point. When the platform comes down, if there's not enough room for you to stand, you basically have a 1/3 chance of being shoved left, right, or down. And luckily for GDF, the game chose down in that instance.
You know, I had a lot more fun running 11 exit. I want to do that again.
No, thank you.
Nah, but despite that, I'm having a good time.
I mean, so all told, everything that you've seen so far, this really speaks volumes about sort of what makes this category so difficult, is because up till this point, a lot of the stages I'd say that with the exception of maybe Wings and Clip and things like that, there's really no excuse for losing a lot of time, but then as soon as Forest comes around, it's really just anyone's guess what's going to happen.
Yeah. You want to explain what just happened with Cannonfly?
Sure. So, like we've mentioned before about if you go into a pipe or a door, hold on a second. If you go into a pipe or a door right after flying, the game allows you to fly on the other side of the room. What he actually did there was he did the same thing into a pipe that shoots you out with cannon speed. So cannon speed's actually considerably faster than normal flight speed. Normal flight speed maxes out at 51 units per second, whereas cannon speed is 64 units per second. So it's considerably faster. And so what he did there was he maintained flight through the pipe in order to keep his cannon speed, which, if done perfectly, that saves 1 second on that stage. It's not huge, but it's definitely worth it to go for because it's not particularly difficult to pull off.
Yeah, right there was another example of damage boosting.
Right. So he dive bombed into the Buddy Boo line in order to go into a cape canceled spin, and then spin jumped off of the Buddy Boo line to get up to where the door is. Typically, you would either have to fly after waiting for the Boo line to move, or you'd have to lure the Boo blocks over to service platforms, but that strat's considerably faster. So Truman right now is doing the Chocolate Island 2 stage, which if you're not familiar with Chocolate Island 2, all of its pipes are connected to different rooms based on different triggers. So the first pipe decides where you go based on how many coins you've collected, and the second pipe decides where you go based on how much time is left on the clock. So right there, he got no coins in the first room in order to get one of the rooms to be his second one, and then went directly into the pipe to get the key exit. Next time he goes through, he's going to try to get at least 19 coins in the first room, and that's going to provide him a second room that contains a spare cape for him. And then the reason why he can afford to waste that time is because for the second pipe, he needs to wait until the clock says 2:49 in order to go to a room that will actually lead him to the normal exit. He can't go any earlier than that, or there's no way to get the normal exit. So he has time to spare, and you'll probably actually end up seeing him just sit around and wait at the pipe for the time to pass. So don't think that he's given up. That's what you're going to see coming up pretty soon. All while I was saying that Green Death played an amazing Roy's Castle there. Got that done with, and so now he has no more need for a Fire Flower for the rest of the run. So the fact that he doesn't have a Fire Flower anymore is no longer a handicap. And then Truman just played an awesome Chocolate Secret that you just saw there. The first room is basically a hell room. The second room is fairly straightforward, and the third room is mostly a flyover, but being able to fly over that room takes a lot of practice, so Chocolate Secret is definitely no slouch. And now you'll see him do all of the things I mentioned in Chocolate Island 2 before. Oh, is it 21? I'm sorry, I said 19, didn't I? For some reason, I always thought it was 19.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get all these dragon coins here to get the correct last room.
Yeah, the correct last room is slightly less crucial. It's only very slightly shorter. Isn't it shorter than the other option?
I really
but more
don't know
importantly, it gives you enough room to take off, which is more important. So since he has 4 dragon coins, that actually controls what he gets for his last room, and that gives him enough space to actually take off and do normal fly here, which is slightly faster than the alternative strat you would have in the other room that could appear there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I caught if you said this, but I have 2 backup capes now because I don't need Fire Flower for any more bosses.
Right.
There's no more of the 2 fireballs in a stomp.
So you see GDF right here, he's flying over Choco Ghost House. It's not free to just fly through this room that he just went through. There's actually a pipe at the top of the screen that's off screen that you can't see. And so if you fly just barely too high, you get stopped and you'll fall early. And if you fly just barely too low, you get hit by the fishing boo. So controlling your height at just the right spot while off screen and not being able to see Mario is more of an art than a science, I would say. So Truman just got an exit in Chocolate Island 3, but oops, it loops back to the stage he was already in, so now he has to get a different exit.
Yeah, we call
Looks
that
like that one doesn't work, buddy.
The road to nowhere. Alright, now coming up is one of the most technical, if not the most technical stage in the run.
This fort's incredibly difficult to pull off. There aren't a lot of people who can manage it, even incredibly skilled runners, so let's just see what happens. Okay, so he got caught up a little bit there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, not a ton, but the goal is to fly all the way through to the other side of this room.
Yeah, those pencils have pretty wonky hitboxes that catch you.
Yeah, they're meant to just injure you if they hit you directly on, but it seems like it's fairly specific how centered on you they have to be to hurt you. So more often than not, what happens is if they just touch you at all, they slow you down in a really strange way. There's really no other way to put it.
Has a good second room, though.
It does. The second room is much easier to pull off, for sure.
Still looks cool, though.
Yeah, we always call them pencils. So this is probably my favorite stage in the game, is Chocolate Island 4. So incredibly easy to learn how to do, and so like cool to watch done well. That was a great Chocolate Island 4.
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't mess that up after you hyped it up so much.
Sorry about that. I'm trying not to oversell things. So here we have Green Death waiting at the pipe for the clock to turn to 2:49, which is going to give him the exit for the normal exit.
Did not get piece me for the fly strat though, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's pretty minor. So Truman missed out on P-Speed at the end of Chocolate Island 5, but otherwise a good Chocolate Island 5. He needs to get a Yoshi here for a few reasons, the most important of which is that there is a Yoshi wing block in Valley of Bowser 2 that we want to exploit to make sure that we don't have to play that stage more than the one time we have to. So Truman went for a slightly safer version of the fast strat on those skewers, crushers, whatever you want to call them, in that first room. And then the second room, you can actually fly all the way through, the timing for which can be a little bit tough, but what can I say? Truman's an expert. So fun fact about this boss, due to the fact that all of the pipes are very short, for at least one frame right before Wendy appears in the pipes, you can actually see her feet stick out from the bottom in all but I think one of her animation patterns. And so before she actually appears, you can know where she's going to be, which can help you plan out looking at where the potaboos are, the lava bubbles, fireballs, whatever you want to call them, to make sure that you don't run into them. Yeah, he's definitely making it clear that this is not blind for him.
Nope. I've played the game a couple times.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, guys. GDF's capture card seems to not love the really bright backgrounds, but it's not a big deal.
Nah.
Or you wanna, like, explain Boomerang despawns real quick? While I'm trying to do them.
Okay, so, in Sunken Ghost Ship, in the second room, the only stage where this... Green Death just got a perfect first room in Chocolate Fort, by the way, I just want to point out.
Ooh.
So, in the second room here, we have these appearing and disappearing clouds of boos, which, if you play this game casually, is nightmare fuel. One of the interesting side effects of that is that the way the despawn works is that there's a sprite that appears later in this stage that tells it, okay, stop spawning more boos. So what we're going to do is we're going to let one more boo cycle appear right before we get to that sprite, which is going to mean that we get one really long final boo cycle. And if they disappear as a boo ring is appearing, then we get a despawn. And that's what happened to Truman right there. There was supposed to be a boo ring on the bottom level down there, but because the boo cloud was disappearing right as that boo ring was supposed to start appearing, it never showed up. It just disappeared, which is very nice. Really great Chocolate Island 4 by Green Death right there, and what you're seeing Truman do here is actually some lag reduction strats. He's trying to make sure that there's not too many sprites on screen, both because this room can get extremely laggy, and also because if you fill up all of the sprite slots in just the wrong way, you can actually get the orb at the end of the room to despawn, and the orb is the only way to beat the stage. So if it despawns, you have to go way out of your way, much further down on the screen in order to get it to respawn, which can cost you quite a lot of time.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. It's a bad... You'll have a bad time.
Talking about lag reduction there, I hit an important milestone, 1 million points. That actually does make a bit of difference.
Yes, so GDF just got 1 million points, which, due to reasons that I don't want to have to explain because I don't understand them fully, it actually reduces lag to have right in the ballpark of 1 million points on your score counter. Unfortunately, Truman is not holding it down. Unfortunately, Truman is not holding it down or rolling deep. So he does not have 1 million yet.
Yeah, I'm not quite at the point where I go for point manipulation.
So we got GDF here doing small Mario strats on Castle 6. And you're going to see right here why it is that Truman has Yoshi still. It's pretty important and valuable to keep him because there's a wing block right here that's going to allow him to end the stage early. And so that's pretty great. GDF's got his cape back, and he's back in it. No problem. The next room will allow him to get another cape as well, so no major loss.
That's called the sexy slide.
Nice.
Alright, so typically you have to kind of take a roundabout path through that ghost house in order to get into a position where you can have both a P-switch and that coin snake in order to build a staircase up to that key, but if you spin fly in just the right way, you can actually catch your foot on the entrance to that little hole, and that'll allow you to slide through there. And so, for a lot of new runners, it's pretty easy to learn how to spin fly up there, no problem. If you get your timing just right, though, you can actually slide through without really losing any of your momentum, and that's what Super Mario World runners refer to as the sexy slide.
A name that we shamelessly stole from SMB3.
I feel little bits of shame once in a while.
Sorry to hear
Alright,
that.
so Truman's going through Valley of Bowser 3 here. This is another stage similar to Vanilla Dome 4, where it's all about kind of learning where you can land and where you want to jump off of in order to Yoshi fly all the way to the end.
Okay, I got it.
So, you're actually watching GDF right now do Sunken Ghost Ship again, the Boo Clouds, and at the very beginning of the stage, you see him get knocked off of Yoshi twice. That's not accidental, and it's not a mistake. Getting knocked off of Yoshi twice actually allows you to set up the timing for these Boo Clouds just right to get the perfect Boo Ring despawn. And as you saw, it worked out perfectly. GDF got the despawn on the first Boo Ring, which allowed him to get to the end of the room quite quickly. Got Truman here doing Valley of Bowser 4. This stage is also one of those jump fly stages. It's a lot more difficult just due to the low ceilings, but you have to have a Yoshi in order to get the key exit in this stage. It's imperative that you have a Yoshi by the end of it, and it's one of the reasons why the stage actually provides you with a Yoshi. But why would you take that garbage-colored Yoshi when you could have a blue Yoshi instead? And so we bring our own. This is a BYOB party.
I believe this is the only, or that was the only exit that requires Yoshi, I think.
I can't think of another one offhand. There's some exits that require Yoshi or a power-up, but this is the only one that actually requires specifically a Yoshi. And we lose him here because he doesn't provide us any value for the rest of the run. And like any good speedrunner, you discard that which offers you no value.
Okay, this is the last castle in the game. One that has given me lots of trouble.
This is like the last frontier for Super Mario World speedrunners. Castle 7's second room is probably one of, at least in my opinion, probably one of the most difficult rooms in the game to do optimally. This is one of the few rooms in the game that actively resist being speedrun. And so Truman, while he had a good run-through of that room, that still wasn't even
optimal.
close to the optimal strat. The optimal strat looking absolutely absurd when done right.
Yeah, the absolute most optimal strat's about 6 or 7 seconds faster than what I did, and what I did was like the second fastest thing.
Okay, so you just saw GDF do a strat that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy in a marathon run, which is doing door fly in
Oh man.
room 2 of Valley Ghost House, and he pulled it off with absolute perfection. It's not a difficult strat to learn, but when you compound it with nerves, getting just the right dive bombs in order to make it work the way you want it to takes a ton of practice.
And it's easier to do when you're about 5 minutes behind.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you kind of have to subtract nerves from the equation if you're going to get that strat. I was really hoping you were going to do that, by the way.
Alright, it's about to go down.
Alright, we see Truman here attempting the sandbar clip, also known as the John Carls in this community. And he gets it! Holy crap.
Damn!
So that skips an entire cycle in the Vanilla Dome 2. In Valley of Bowser 2. Each cycle of the sandbar moving up and down cost you 12 full seconds. The strat that he did there was he crouch slided into a tight space, and you have a 2-frame window to hit A, such that you clip out of bounds. But that's not it. Once you've clipped out of bounds, you still have to maintain your momentum and make it to the next breakpoint in the labyrinth in order to actually make full use of it. So that was just a great example of some of the more advanced strats in Super Mario World. Definitely a strat that a lot of runners don't add to their runs, just because of the fact that it appears at the very end of every single category. What you saw Truman do right there at the beginning of that stage was he scrolled the screen that loaded the crushers just slightly later, which allowed him to make it through all of them in one cycle, which saves a little bit of time right there. Here he's trying to preserve his key speed. He's trying to preserve his momentum in order to keep full running speed through this room. There was one additional cycle skip that he could have gone for. Saves about 3 seconds, I think it is.
Yeah.
But at that point, better to be safe than sorry, because mistakes with that typically aren't just you lose your cape. It's typically you die fully. So.
Yeah, basically any mistake in that fortress kills you.
So you must be close to entering Bowser.
I'll let you know.
He's in Dark Room right now. He's
incredible run.
Yeah, he's on 124 something pace.
I'm in the fight.
Yep.
He's borderline 24 flat, which is amazing.
He entered at 24:10 or 22:10. Sorry.
Hopefully, I didn't forget an exit.
I don't know. I've been watching like a hawk, man. You see GDF here entering Castle 7 Room 2. Let's see if GDF has better luck.
He spawned in the one place I wanted to, so I could go for the fast strat.
Yeah, definitely one of those stages where even if you are playing perfectly, the Magic Koopa spawns can decide for you whether or not it's going to go well.
Yeah, and they usually decide it doesn't.
Yeah. So Truman got an excellent first phase for Bowser, and he's going to be going for ball skip here. And what that means is, in this phase of the Bowser fight, Bowser drops 2 giant bowling balls. But if you hit Bowser with a Mecha Koopa right as he's about to flip over to drop the second ball, he'll skip that entirely, which saves a little bit of time. All told, doing perfect cape strats on this boss save, 12 seconds? 15? 12? Something like that.
Close.
It's not a huge amount of time for new runners, but it's definitely worth learning. It's practically free.
As much as I want to go for it here, I also want the marathon to advance.
Alright, let's see what... Time.
Incredible.
24:05. That's an incredible run.
You know...
Congrats, dude.
Thank you. Like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, that's actually race world record. By 30 seconds.
It absolutely is.
That's insane to me. So what you saw GDF doing there, he wasn't going for the sandbar clip, but there are some cycle skips that you can still do in this run. By maintaining P speed in just the right ways, you can skip certain sections where the labyrinth expects you to stop and wait. And so that's what he's doing here to try to cut out as many extra cycles as possible, because as mentioned before, each cycle that you lose is actually 12 full seconds, like 12 real-world seconds, which is no small amount. That's one of the reasons why adding in the sandbar clip, or the John Carls, or whatever you want to call it, that's why adding that in to a run can be so crucial for top-level players.
Yeah. I have GDF stream open now.
You have it on Fast 8?
Yeah.
Okay. GDF goes hard in the paint, man.
It's going in.
GDF's one of the only runners I've seen that has the strats he has on Bob Fort, and they're absolutely incredible, because if you're... I guess it's hard to know if you're not really familiar with this game, but a lot of those strats that he does, the ones that seem like incredibly close calls and true run enders if he was off by even a small amount, aren't saving that much time. They're saving, you know, a quarter second here, a half second there, which truly does add up over the course of the entire stage, but it just shows you how optimized this run has to be if he's willing to go for that and basically lose a run on the last actual exit of the stage.
Fun fact, one run I was on world record pace. I did it the normal way, probably how Truman did it, and messed up.
Oh wow. Yeah, you can get
Cost me
really
the
ingrained
record.
with your straights. Or you can get really ingrained with your strats. And even the easier ones become more difficult if you're not comfortable with them.
I want to mention one more thing. That Ford strat, I learned, I believe it was the Japanese runner Yeppo-san. I learned that from him.
Oh, your strats for Bob Fort?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this is one of the few. I guess that's not true. I can't speak for all of the Mario communities, but it's surprising to me how much more active the American speedrun community is for this game compared to the Japanese speedrun community. I think there used to be a much more active Japanese speedrun community for this game, but I think a lot of the Marios have actually seen smaller numbers of Japanese runners as of late. But
not too many.
Some of the best runners of this game have been Japanese runners. Before Cloud was found, the long-standing world record holder for 11 exit with Orb was actually Menbu, who was a Japanese runner. And then you currently have Pogyo, who's the low percent world record holder.
Not quite.
Oh, he hasn't beaten Dram yet?
No.
Did he tie?
No.
He's a couple
I think
seconds
he's 1
off,
second,
I think.
1 or 2 seconds.
For some reason I thought that he had
that's
beaten
it
by
for
now.
me.
Nice.
I apologize for this performance.
There's nothing to apologize before. Not only did you still come in under estimate, but most of your time loss was just due to, you know, your over-ambitious strats, losing time here and there, but you definitely put on one hell of a show for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks. I'm still in awe of Truman's time. That's incredible.
That time
Thank
is
you.
pure craziness.
Future
And
record
and
holder.
Aaron was right. That would have been a 123
Yeah.
if not for your beautiful Yoshi's Island 3.
Yeah, man, that would have been a 123.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I had a lot of fun doing this.
This was
So did I.
this
Good
was
race.
a great race, and thanks so much to the both of you for running, and thanks for having us and me on here to show off Super Mario World. This is a game that I think all of us are truly passionate about, and it's great to be able to share it with you guys.
Yep.